So for this tutorial, I just recycled some old frames that I had in my old apartment and instead made this foil silver leaf art and used these to give kind of a more modern look. So if you'd like to know how I did these, please keep watching. So first, because I just want a little bit more of a glittery look, I am going to use this Krylon Glitter Blast spray and just spray the frames, the white part. But this part, I mean, it's not really necessary, but you could also do like different colors, or if you wanted more of like a glossy finish or a matte finish, this would also be the time where you could do that. So you just take the backing out and you only leave the frame. Like I'm doing there. So you're just going to take the solid frames and that's what you're going to spray around. Make sure to go outside and use a ventilated area. So then while the frames are drying, in the meantime, so what you're going to do is you're going to take any sort of heavyweight paper. I'm using Bristol paper just because that's what I have, but anything thick and heavyweight is going to do, because you just want to make sure that once you apply the glue you don't get curled edges. So I'm taking just one piece and I'm going to use the glass part of the frame as a reference size, just to see how much paper I need. Luckily, 2 pieces fit on one sheet of paper, so I only had to use one. Now you could just use the square and cut in the middle of the paper, but to make life a little bit easier, I'm lining it up to the edges so that I don't have to cut 2 sides. So you're going to match up the corners of the glass to the corners of the paper. Make sure you have straight lines and everything is paired up. And then you're going to start using the X-Acto knife to cut along the edges. So you're going to want to cut with the hand that you write with, and making sure that the opposite hand that you don't write with is what you're using as your support system. If you do it the opposite way, it's not gonna go well. So just rule of thumb. And you're just gonna want to do firm, small, slow strokes along the glass, checking to see how deep your cuts are, and then just keep going until it's fully cut all the way. And then just move on to the other side, making sure to still keep your lines intact, and making sure that everything is parallel. You also want to make sure to there are cutting boards that you can buy, but I just use the pad itself. It's pretty thick, and I know that it's not going to go through all the way for when I cut, but make sure you do use something to protect whatever tabletop it is that you're using. You don't want to cut directly on your table. But once you are done cutting the square, just move on to the next one and do the exact same process. And you're going to just repeat that depending on how many frames it is that you're going to do. And so now that we have both pieces cut out, we're going to get straight into the gluing of the silver leaf. So we're just going to take our rubber cement and just kind of place it in whatever shape or design that you're wanting. And then also remember too, rubber cement does dry fairly quickly, so you do kind of have to move a little bit faster, but just place your rubber cement all over the paper as you'd like. then you take your silver leaf, and it rips so easily. It's a very delicate form of media, so it can work in your advantage or it could also work in your disadvantage, but it kind of takes a little bit of playing around to it. But just kind of shape it how you want, maybe loosen up the edges. As you can see, I'm using my mixing knife to kind of just press it in, and it's kind of taking its own shape and form as I'm pressing it into the rubber cement, which it kind of gives it like its own texture and feel, which is cool. But there may be some rough edges like around the corners of the actual like silver leaf paper, and you just kind of have to mess around with it and adjust the sides like you want to, or you can always place more silver leaf on top of that. It's really up to you, but the application of the silver leaf is super simple. So you'll continue to add silver leaf or make adjustments until it's how you like it. But once you are done, any loose pieces of the silver leaf, you can just go back in with your finger and just press lightly. But once everything looks good, you just set it aside and wait for it to completely dry, and then just go on to the next sheet. After you have a design that you like, you can also add extra things to, like more glitter if you'd like, maybe just like crinkled up pieces of silver leaf to create that glitter effect. It's really up to you if you want to add anything else for more texture or just for looks. Just using your creativity. But once you are done, make sure that all the pieces are 100% completely dried, because you don't want the rubber cement to stick onto the glass part of the frame. So once everything is dried, you can go ahead and place the pieces of paper into the frames, and then they are ready to be hung up. This is the final look. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.